Canadian TV show Letterkenny recently returned for what was, incredibly, its 10th season in less than 6 years. The show, written by Jared Keeso, has received generally positive reviews, and critics have praised its complex and fully rounded depiction of First Nations people, which is often overlooked. Stay with us, as today we are discussing behind-the-scenes moments fans never knew about, plus a few other bits and pieces about the show. First up, the show is the baby of its star, Jared Keeso. Keeso, who, as well as starring in the show, also writes it, plays Wayne in Letterkenny. And it's an ode of sorts to the Hicks skids and hockey players from small-town Ontario who have had an upbringing similar to his own. And that small town on the show is based on none other than Keeso's hometown of Listowel. You would need to drive 2 hours west of Toronto before hitting Listowel, and many Ontarians haven't even heard of the place. That is hardly surprising, however, as the town is home to only 7,500 people. Listowel could be any small town in Ontario, and Keeso has captured the essence of what it's like to live there in these towns remarkably well. I mean, he has had his first-hand experience, so it's hardly surprising, right? Towns like this are dotted all around Eastern Canada and consist of a few main ingredients: a hockey team, community, hard winters, and even harder drinking, all of which is evident in Letterkenny. Keeso also harbored dreams of turning out in the NHL as a career before his dad helped him change his mind, and we are glad he did. Next, we're looking at where the show is filmed. Believe it or not, the show is actually filmed in the very place it's set, Ontario. Many shows choose to shoot in different locations to that of which they're set, often citing money as a reason, but Letterkenny stays true to its roots, filming in Sudbury, Ontario. The town's located around 4 hours north of Toronto, and although not a tiny town akin to Letterkenny or Listowel, it is still a charming place. The crew chose to film here as Sudbury is big enough to provide showrunners with enough unique locations, and it also has the infrastructure necessary to handle a network television show being filmed there. If they had chosen to film in Listowel, the town would more or less have to shut down whilst the cast and crew took over for filming. Sudbury allows them to film without impacting the townsfolk too much, but still being able to capture that small town vibe, which is lovely, don't you think? The town also has previous experience when it comes to filming locations, having appeared in a ton of Canadian shows, as well as an X-Men movie, Once Upon a Time. Have you been to Sudbury? Let us know what you thought of it below. Some interesting news about the show's director next. Stay tuned. If you thought you recognized the show's director, it's probably because he features on the cast. Jacob Tierney, who plays the show's Pastor Glenn, also doubles as its director. Pretty cool, right? As well as Keeso, Tierney helped develop the show from the mind of Tierney into what it is today, and fans are glad he did, as the show wouldn't have gone in the direction it has without his input. Not only has he directed every episode so far, he also helps Keeso write the show, and he has the credentials to back it up. He's earned a couple of beavers, that's the actual name for the Canadian Comedy Awards, before you accuse us of pulling your leg, for his film, The Trotsky, and he earned a few more from his work with Keeso on Letterkenny. What's your favorite episode of the show so far? Something you might not know about K. Trevor Wilson now. Don't go anywhere. Wilson, who plays the hilarious Squirrely Dan on the hit show, is not really an actor at all. Although he appeared on The Goosebumps, kids' TV show when he was younger, Wilson is mainly known for his stand-up comedy routines. Having recently appeared at the Just for Laughs festival, he is also featured on Jimmy Kimmel, as well as his hit album, Sorry, a Canadian album, which reached the top of the iTunes charts. He pulled off the Dan role expertly, and it's his background in comedy which allows him to play the role so well. Perfect casting, guys. Who's your favorite character on the show? Give us your thoughts in the comment section. The show even has its own official beer. Stay tuned to find out more. It's no surprise, really, that a show which features characters who, shall we say, like a drink, has its own signature beer. The guys who created the show have teamed up with a local brewery in Sudbury, Stack Brewing, to give their fans their own little taste of Letterkenny. The beer, known as Pupper's Lager, is now the fictional town's official beer and is apparently a great little beer. It serves as a super marketing tool for the show, and the creators haven't missed a trick with this one. Will you be trying Puppers if you get a chance to get your hands on some? We sure will be. News of a guest writer on the show now. As we know, writing responsibilities over at Letterkenny HQ are largely shared by the multi-talented Keeso and Tierney duo, but it has been revealed that the odd episode has in fact been written by Trailer Park Boys writer Jonathan Torrens. Torrens, who also appeared on Trailer Park Boys, lent his creative humor to a handful of episodes, including Dick Slip Out, A Great Day for Thunder Bay, amongst others. He also made recurring appearances on the show as Farmer No know a dick, and we're delighted he did. It's great the guys are comfortable having crossover writers in from other shows, as a lot of comedy can tend to be very territorial. Good for you guys. Who is your favorite character on Trailer Park Boys? A live show you might not have been aware of is next. The show proved so successful that the crew decided to take the Letterkenny on the road. Some jokes are just much better suited to the stage and a live audience, so the girls and gals behind the show decided to create Letterkenny Live. They toured across Canada, but a lot of the tour ended up being canceled. Cheers, COVID. But there are plans in the works to take the show back on the road when things finally get back to normal. The show consisted of skits, jokes, and stand-up sets, which we can't wait to see. Will you be getting a ticket to Letterkenny Live? Once it finally rolls around to your town, let us know below. News of a spin-off show. Stick around to find out all about it. The show's first official spin-off, also created by Jared Keeso, features K. Trevor Wilson and Nathan Dales playing child versions of their older Letterkenny characters. The show will be animated, which will also allow the story to be told of how the crew got to know each other without having to get in other actors to play the younger versions of the characters. The show will be child-centered, but definitely not child-friendly, which we think is pretty important to point out given some of the humor we've witnessed in the main show so far, and will give us a better idea of what it would have been like to be a child in a fictional town. Some musical news now. The show's score features as many independent Canadian artists as Keeso is able to source, and the man himself takes great pride in using local talents. Some of the music featured on the show so far includes OK OK by Girlfriend Material, Pressure by Milk and Bone, F the Pain Away by Peaches, Fine Shrine by Purity Ring, Un Musician Parmi Tant d'Auteurs by Harmonium, and a ton of others. Next up, some real-life NFL links. Dylan Playfair, who played Riley on the show, not only plays a hockey player, but his whole life sort of revolved around the sport from a very young age. His father, Jim Playfair, was a real-live NHL player, turning out for the Edmonton Oilers and the Chicago Blackhawks. Dylan's uncle was also a pretty prolific hockey player, and the younger Playfair always wanted to emulate his father and uncle. He instead chose a career in acting, but playing a hockey star on Letterkenny is the next best thing, right? Who is your NHL team? Let us know below. And finally, an environmental activist in the ranks. Michelle Mylett, who plays Katie on our favorite small-town Canadian show, has recently revealed she's a pretty prominent environmental activist. She's been known to clean up beaches in her native Canada and does her best to reduce waste in every aspect of her life. We wish more people would be like Michelle, as the biggest problem on our planet is seemingly the people who have no problem polluting. Give us some tips below on how to reduce our carbon footprint, Michelle. As always, thanks for tuning in today, and remember to stop by next time for some more fun and games. Why not share this video with any Letterkenny fans you might have lurking on your friends lists? Bye, guys.